Well, hello there! BizTax here, bringing you another episode of Agrarian Skies 2. And my mind was blown in the last episode, and I started to talk about a bunch of gang shit in the last episode. And I'm just gonna continue the rants, because why not? I can't really do that. Mob Hunter, open, pointy sticks, pungy sticks, and oak barricade. No, but that does allow for other stuff. Alright, so I'm just gonna grow this here. I'm gonna continue on in the stuff for Rooney Dooney. Options, controls. Actually, there's like a gang of stuff here that I don't think I can. Why is it so slow? Oh. Okay. Alright, so yeah. Continuing on the rant, I was talking about, what was I talking about again? Oh yeah, the whole going to jury duty and all that jibbery. It's kind of interesting. But in other news, so some of you may know that I like to cube, as in I like to solve the Rubik's Cube quickly. Some of you may be all like, that's like impossible. How do you do that? It is what it is, because it's actually really not that hard. Once you know the tricks to it. And I do say tricks, plural, due to the simple fact that it's not just like one thing that you do over and over and over again until it's solved. It's actually a bunch of different things that you do. You have a certain situation and you do some stuff in order to get the desired effect. You isolate a particular piece, or more accurately a piece type, or a series of piece types, and you apply algorithms in order to accomplish a particular goal given your particular situation. That's really how it's done. If you really want to learn more about how to solve the Rubik's Cube, by all means, look it up. It's called YouTube. You're watching YouTube right now. It's a thing. However, if you want to feel like a badass while solving the Rubik's Cube, and yes, that is a thing that you can do, is be a badass while solving the Rubik's Cube, then I highly recommend you look into the Heist Method. Heist is the name of a guy who... Oh, okay. Heist is the name of the guy, Ryan Heist. Heise. And he, back in the day, started doing a gang of stuff on how to solve the Rubik's Cube and all kinds of stuff like that. And his method has been named the hardest method to learn. And there is a reason for that. I mean, I am currently in the process of learning it. It's weird, man. Like, it's really bizarre. Mainly due to the fact that, like I said, usually what you do is you have a situation and then you do some stuff to solve that particular situation. The way that the Heist method actually works is that you have this overall understanding of how the cube functions, and you apply a bunch of like logic and just thinking things through in order to figure out ways of solving the situations that you have. So the way that it works is you build a block, build a 2x2x1 block, and what that means is it's 1 piece by 2 pieces by 2 pieces, and one of the pieces included is always going to be a center. At least one of the pieces. Well, there's internal and external blocks, and this is also very visual, so I don't really understand. I don't really know why I'm trying to explain all this shit right now, but you know, whatever. It fills the void. So in it you have there's internal blocks and there's external blocks. What an internal block is a edge piece, a piece with 2 colors, paired up with the matching centerpieces, which is a piece with only 1 color on it. Oh, I fucked this one up. Right? So, what do I mean by that? What I mean by that is you have... Okay, I'm just going to plunk you down here and store one of you, and you. I only have 4 silkworms? Thick. I'm just going to do that and just wait until the stuff goes away. I really could have been a lot smarter with my... Oh, God, that's going to irritate me. No! I'll just fix it later. I don't really care. So, yeah, anyway, so you have an internal block, which is an edge piece paired up to its matching centerpieces, which means a piece with 2 colors and a piece matched up to the 2 single colored pieces that it's you know, that it matches up with. A lot of this stuff is called block building, and it's really intuitive, and what I mean by that is the whole concept behind it is you're hiding the stuff that you're working on, or the stuff that you've already worked on, out of the way from the stuff that you are currently working on. Yeah, so there's that. And so you match that up. That's an internal block. An external block, or an outer block, is a 2x2x1. Oh, and the reason why it's called internal is because the 4th piece in the 2x2x1 is actually the core. But the core is inaccessible and doesn't have any colors and is literally always solved. Is always in a solved position. Very much like the centerpieces. The centerpieces don't actually move. All that they do is rotate relative to each other. They don't switch positions with anybody else. Also, there's the edge pieces, which are just pieces with 2 colors. There's 12 of them, because there's 12 edges of a cube. And they have 2 colors on them, and edge pieces can move around. They can swap positions with each other, but they cannot swap positions from other piece types. So, an edge piece can never become a centerpiece, and an edge piece can never become, say, a corner piece. Also, corner pieces have 3 colors. I mean, a lot of this is pretty much like, no duh, what the fuck. But if you're someone who's new to solving the Rubik's Cube, it starts to make sense. Also, if you are new to solving a Rubik's Cube, take your Rubik's Cube. Hopefully it's not a Rubik's brand. If it is a Rubik's brand, go to a speed cubing website. Speedcubes.com, I think, is the one that I go to. And buy the cheapest speed cube that you can. I recommend a stickerless cube. They turn very well regardless of what brand that they are. And you can also take them apart easily. Anyway, and also change like how they work. Now this might have been a flawless tree. Whatever, I don't care. I'm trying to not die. So, anyway, so if you want to understand how the Rubik's Cube works, take one apart carefully and then put it back together properly. And in doing that, you'll immediately understand how solving the Rubik's Cube works, because you solve the Rubik's Cube very much like how you take it apart and put it back together. So with the Ryan Heist method, getting back to the original subject, you build a single internal block and one internal block and 3 outer blocks. 1 inner, 3 outer. And what they'll do, and you actually don't need to worry about what colors they are, only that they all share the same color. And once you're done, you can do one move in order to put them in the right spot. It's a lot easier to think of it as you build a 1 by 2 by 2, and then you extend that into a 2 by 2 by 2, and then you extend that into a 2 by 2 by 3, and then you just tack on one more 2 by 2 by 2 on top of that. So what you get is kind of like this weird wraparound couch kind of thing, where the entire first 2 layers are done, except for one slot. And if you're familiar with F2L, also known as first 2 layers, or Fredericks, or CFOP, or whatever you want to call it, then you'll understand that a lot more. But basically what it means is that it has one slot missing, and that means that it's one pair of corner and edge, an edge-corner pair, that is missing from the solve of that particular situation. So what that allows you to do is you have the entire top layer that is unsolved, and one slot in the first 2 layers that is unsolved. What does this do for you? That's the main thing. What it does is it allows you to come up with more. It opens up the cube without. It allows you to do stuff to the rest of the cube without messing up what you've already done. That's the whole concept behind the Heist method, is that you leave what you're doing alone, so that you're not messing up what you're already doing. Whereas a lot of, like, even the beginner's method, you're messing up what you're doing in order to fix the things that you're doing, and it doesn't make a lot of sense a lot of times, and it's kind of hard to understand exactly what is going on. So that being said, the Heist method is 100% intuitive. There's no memorization that you need to do. There's no crazy algorithms that you need to learn. There's no, cases. There's none of that shit. All of it is just straight up, I'm gonna solve this cube. Now, the big part about that, though, is that it does require a lot of logical thinking. So when you're doing the F2L -1, then and that's what that shape is. It's actually, you know what? I have Minecraft. So I'm going to do a thing here. Break these all down into these guys. So the way that the Heist method works is that first you start off with a 2 by 2 by 2, right? And then you append a 2 by 2 by 2, 2 by 2 by 1 on top of that, and then you append another one to that, and then you append another one to that. So you get this kind of shape, right? And then after that, you fix the edges, so you get something like this. Right? So you only have 5 corners left, and then what you do is you fix 2 of them, and the last 3 you do something that's called a commutator, and that's you do a series of moves. Well, you do a series of moves, and then you do another series of moves. Then you undo the first series, and then you undo the second series. And the series can literally just be like 3 moves, which is a very common commutator. And the second series is usually only 1 move, either a double turn or a single turn in some direction. And what that'll do is it'll cycle 3 of the corners. It'll cycle 3 of the corners, or 3 of the edges if you make it properly. And then that's, literally how you solve it. And the way that commutators work is that you do a series of moves, usually 3, that isolate a very specific piece. So you end up pulling, like let's say you're doing a commutator for edges. You construct 3 moves that will... Oh, and I still fucked up the... God damn it. Anyway, I'm just glad that it didn't get obnoxiously huge. Although, that's not necessarily a bad thing. It's just going to be a pain in the ass to break down. So you do a series of moves that... that isolate a very specific piece. And what I mean by that is that you pull 1 corner out of a layer, out of a face, out of a side, and then you move the side that you pulled the corner out of. Then you put the corner back into the new place, and then you move everything back to where it originally was. And then you turn the face back to where it originally was. And what they'll do is that it'll cycle 3 corners, because what you're really doing is you're making 2 swaps. And then, yeah, you're making a pair of swaps. Because you can never, ever, ever swap 2 pieces on their own. So you can't just take, the red yellow edge and the pink yellow edge and swap their positions without also swapping the positions of 2 other pieces, other than centers, because they can't be swapped. They can't move. Period. So yeah. Also, the whole trick of... Also, if... the whole thing about, rotating an edge on someone's cube. Ha ha ha, very funny. But if someone knows how to solve the Rubik's Cube, that's not going to faze them. They're going to be all like, oh, I see what you did there. Very funny. Now I have to take it apart and put it back. Or if they have a speed cube, they can just literally just manually rotate the corner. And a lot of people might call that cheating, but there's a lot of cases where during your solve, especially if you have a nice speed cube, during your solve you can be very rough on your cubes, and you'll end up doing something where you're just a little bit too heavy on your finger tricks, on your motions, and the mere pressure of turning the faces will end up rotating a corner in its place, and then you won't catch it until you're done with the cube, and then you have just 1 corner rotated. And in a lot of speed cubing events, I think if that happens, it's still considered solved, because if that didn't happen, it would be solved. I think. Don't quote me on that. I don't really know. I mean, I haven't been to a legitimate event before, so I don't really know. But that's just like my own headspace. I mean, if that were to happen to me, then that's exactly what would happen. So that's how I would approach a situation like that. And you know, like it is a lot of fun solving the Rubik's Cube, to be honest with you. I mean, I've been enamored with the Rubik's Cube since I was 9. So like 16 years, for the last 16 years, I've been trying to figure out how to freaking solve the Rubik's Cube. On and off. So, and, you know, I was pretty upset. Like, I was kind of disappointed in myself when I got another cube, and you know, my grandfather, step-grandfather-in-law, whatever, he printed out a sheet that had, you know, all the, oh, everything's freaking maxed out. Okay, whatever. You know, he printed out a sheet. Do I have any left? Well, I will now. He printed out a tutorial on how to solve the Rubik's Cube, and I feel like I should have been able to do it myself. Because I honestly believe that I was close enough to figuring it out. I'd already been working on, you know, how to do it like the beginner's way. So, you know, that's the thing. But anyway, this episode is starting to get a little long. So I'm just going to leave it there for now. I hope you guys enjoyed my blathering on about the Heist Method and how to solve the Rubik's Cube and all that stuff. I am thinking about doing a legitimate tutorial on how to solve the Rubik's Cube at some point in time. So look out for that. I think that would be a fun project to do. And yeah, I guess we'll see from there. Anyway, that's it for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed. I think that is an awesome fucking picture. How do I do this? It's kind of ominous too. So yeah, that's it for this video. I hope you enjoyed. Let me know if you did. And yeah, catch you next time. Ciao.